mother speaks.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon, Dark Matter, the Void, the Black Hole, Hathor, Isis, Diana, Mami Ishtar, Kali, Mammy, and Mother Mary. Hello, welcome to Great Mother Speaks. I'm Tammy Taylor, your manifestation muse, and today we're talking about a mighty journey into the Taurus and Gemini full moon. Welcome, everyone. This is in Scorpio in Vedic astrology. Your full moon is in Taurus, and in the Western tropical astrology, of course, the sun is in Sag. It's been in Sag for a couple of weeks now, and our full moon is in Gemini. I mean because what I want to talk about is the sage and the regenerator. That's the sun, because the full moon is that sun reflection on the moon. And so we are talking about that sage in Sagittarius with the Western astrology, which is earth-focused, earth-oriented, earth-centric. That sage in that plane, that medium, that milieu. What is a sage in the Western world? Okay? And the moon reflecting that in Western astrology with the Gemini, the inquisitive, communicator, fun-loving, dualistic, can see both sides, diplomatic. How is that moon reflecting that Western sage? And in Vedic astrology, as you listen, you're going to be looking at that scorpion that is in and out of the underworld and up and down, and that rejuvenation, that kundalini up and down, the 10th chakra to the 12th we want to talk about. The 1st to the 7th is what we can see, and those other chakras that actually go 2 feet into the ground, up above our heads into the auric field. That journey of Scorpio, sun, and the moon being in Taurus, which is that grounding, that secure, that real, loyal, clear about desires and beauty and what balance is, and experiencing that being reflected by that rejuvenation, that digestion, that processing of the physical, ephemeral experience. So we are on the precipice of the ancient times of darkness in which the light shone through. So happy Christmas, Hanukkah. Happy Christmas, Hanukkah. This is for all of us and for all traditions, a time where we look for the light because we are surrounded by darkness in the Northern Hemisphere and mostly Western astrology. So it's a time of really getting in touch with that inner guru, that inner Christos, that inner soul of what you know, to guide you, to be the guiding light. And in our Vedic astrology, and the reason we go back and forth with this is, let me tell you, all Great Mother has to do is love. And that's so hard for us to understand, that we have to look for the light. In other words, we have to want to know why we're worthy. We have to want to know, what that means to be a divine child of the Great Mother, Father God. We have to desire that revelation in order for it to be real in us. That's the Kundalini journey. And so when we talk about the mentality that divides the ignorance of our divinity and the living experiential bliss of that experience, we're talking about Western and Vedic astrology. Yours. Get your chart in the description box below so that you'll know which one you are, because when you want to tap into that inner guru, you're going to be looking at your Vedic Jyotish astrology to see what's going on with your soul evolution, because Vedic astrology is moon biased, I'll say. It's not moon centric.
It is based on an astrology that is astronomically correct, not astrologically. That's just what we talking about, astrology. I'm talking about over there at NASA. Astronomically correct in terms of the actual measurements in the cosmos. It's not centered on anything, but it is biased toward the moon. Okay, and so we are in lunar cycles with Great Mother energy. That is a cycle that all it does is love on us. That's a planet that's all it does. That's all the moon does. You look up any definition of the moon, it's about connection. It's about, loving communication and partnering, and that's all it does is love on us. And with a commitment of a great mother, because it surrounds us. It revolves around us. Its whole life is about us, and the moon changes every 2.5 days into a different sign. And so right now it is in Gemini in the Western, and it is in Taurus in the Vedic. So in the Vedic, you're going to see what your moon is doing on a soul level. How is the moon affecting your soul in the cosmos? So many of us are aware that our souls are not in our bodies. We don't know where our soul is. Yeah, we're alive, and so that means that there is an auric field that sustains this life, but it's a dull mentality because it's so dense. But when we get into the soul coming into the body, and when we're ready to learn those lessons, and when we're ready to tap into that inner guru, we tap into our Vedic to see, okay, so the moon is in Taurus and Vedic right now, and it's a full moon. Okay, so Taurus means, well, that's earthy, that's whatever. Do your basic and just go through your basic understanding of Taurus and see how your soul is experiencing your incarnation right now. Okay, so the sun is in Scorpio in Vedic. How is it being rejuvenated? What types of things is it processing? Those deep things that you're going through, your soul is experiencing that through you like a lens that's been put on a camera. It's looking through, you're a lens. And let's say the soul is the operator of the camera. But the actual camera itself is the karma, the composite experiences of that soul. That is its first filter. And we accumulate those over lifetimes. But that's the camera. It has all the bells and whistles that need to make a photograph happen. And that's all a lifetime is. It's a snapshot of an experience. And so the camera is adjusted right now to this incarnation. Once it puts that lens on, it's a different lens, it's a different lifetime. So the camera is the karma, the operator is the soul, and the lens is whatever and whoever you call yourself, your biography on the back of your book, on the back of your snapshot. That's your ego, okay? And that is what the lens is. And seeing, that's how the lens is seeing this experience right now, okay? And so you can say, okay, well, my Western is that lens, snapping around on the camera, refocusing. And if you're too young to remember those types of cameras, just pick up a National Geographic, pre-1990, okay? And you'll see the difference in the photos. They're more earthy, Anyway, this is what you want to do, because all Great Mother does is love. That's her job. That is her only job. That is all she does in all the different signs and in the Vedic and all the different nakshatras. Okay, so you want to do the same with when you know that you're being emotional and you all in your feelings, as they say, all in your emotions, that Western astrology. Okay, so we want to make that very clear, because the assumption is people who subscribe to this channel either already know this or want to. It's the assumption is in order to understand what Great Mother is coming through saying, you have to have this very rudimentary, basic understanding of yourself. in order to understand what she's saying to you, because she doesn't see us the way we see ourselves. Okay? And so you'll see that once you get hit to what's going on with your birth chart. You know, that's a snapshot of your collective karma. Okay, that's a snapshot of that. You got snapshots of individual lives. You have a snapshot of the whole picture, you know, and that's the whole picture. And that is how she sees us, with love, with the awareness of what it means that she and Great Father God have produced a legacy of divinity throughout the cosmos, and one of its form is in the human form. Okay, and all her job is to love all of creation, perpetuate it. She is the creatrix. So if that is you, and you are creating the cosmos, how would you see your child? How would you see your child? Your child is a freaking bomb, okay? And so the stuff that we're going through and everything, she completely knows, because forget DNA, we're part of the source. That's our mama. That's our mama. So we get to create whatever we want to create. And one of the things we create is this illusion of not being a divine child. Let me just see what it feels like if I were to imagine or actually believe. Let's do that life. If I actually believed I was not a divine child of Great Mother, Father God, what would that be like? And that's what we're doing. That's what we down here doing. We playing that game. And Satan sits at the base of the tree. Until we're ready and we tired, that game ain't fun no more. I ain't got beat up too many times. I don't like it, ain't fun no more. Divine child. Once you realize you're a divine child again of the Great Mother, Father God, and you cannot be tempted anymore to be pulled back into the illusion, he flees. His job is done. You ate the apple on your own choice. We ate the apple on our own choice. And once we've digested it, and that's what's going on with this Scorpio sun still in Vedic. It's in the energy for the soul astrology to be regenerating right now. And that makes a lot of sense. Regeneration is death and rebirth. Happy Christmas, Hanukkah. Okay? And so that's when Jesus was born. And at that time, there were 10 months in the calendar, I believe. It depends. I forget the date for the Romulus calendar. But the Romulus calendar took over the lunar calendar from the goddess era. And so that is what takes us into understanding the difference between astrology and mythology. Now, Great Mother incarnates as the moon. Astrology and mythology are very closely linked. Western astrology is based on the actual incarnation, of the physical earth. And so it's a very yang orientation. And to balance that out, in its mythology, it says that the earth goddess is a woman. And so in order to balance out that very strong orientation, that perceptual orientation of yourself as a divine child, okay, before you are incarnated, then if your highest science about the cosmos then is looking from an orientation of I'm a divine child, it balances out that soul experience. It gives it a contrast to where we will be indoctrinated, conditioned, educated to believe the earth is a semblance of the yin energy to balance out that yang, that very strong incarnational physical material orientation. In the Vedic astrology, the cosmos is seen as a more physical, material thing that can be measured and calculated, then the actual feminine is the moon in terms of its cosmic orientation. Okay, that is the mother. And so the mother then is what you focus on if you're looking at the earth. Whatever planet you're looking at in Vedic astrology, you're going to look through its moon. And so if that is the highest spiritual orientation that you're going to have once you incarnate, that the cosmos is femininely biased, then when you actually incarnate to balance that out, many of your earth gods are what you associate the earth with, is the masculine, because it is the actual physical incarnation of what you are experiencing from that perspective. Whereas in the Western perspective, the feminine is something that has to be taken care of. So astrology and mythology are the same. That's why they're the same. And that's why we talk about cosmic communities. We live in a galaxy. We live in the Milky Way. That's just one of trillions upon trillions. I'm sure Google's, we don't even have the word for it, galaxies, okay? And so we talk about Greek mythology, and we talk about Vedic astrology, and we talk about Greek mythology, and they are so closely related because that's where we get the names of our planets, okay? That's what we name our planets, because we observe the personalities, and again, very much personalizing and putting a specific lens on the physical experience. And so the assumption is one would have some understanding of that, and that they are two divine children of the great Mother, Father, God, incarnated as a god or a goddess. And that awareness is so basic and so fundamental to these readings that I just had to take a moment, because sometimes saying that she provides clarity, balance, and confirmation is enough. But other times I have to really focus on, we are divine children of the great Mother, Father, God. Therefore, we are divinely and dearly loved. We are dearly loved. And that because of that, there's never any judgment or condemnation. That is such a low vibration, but it's a valuable one because it engenders the desire to know more of thyself. And so again, I highly encourage you to find out both of your Jyotish and Western astrology to see where you are in terms of your material focus of the illusion that we are having, that we're experiencing right now as not being divine children of the great Mother, Father, God, and then see where your soul is pushing you when something is really on your heart and in your mind, which is what Great Mother is all about. She's right there with you. And so take advantage. Another way to look at it is just own your divinity and say, my mama right here. Let me go ahead and look at my Vedic astrology and see, how she's whispering, because she's a still small voice. She ain't gonna be on the radio. Ain't no be no whole bunch of blogs breaking it down, really, so you understand it. There'll be some general information that we've had throughout the ages. But for you to know you're going to have to do some research. Just enough for you to watch the back of Satan walk away. So you can really feel her love coming through her messages. Okay? So you can really feel that. Enjoy your December full moon 2017 full moon reading. Hello, Scorpio moon people. Welcome to your December full moon reading. This is a Scorpio moon reading, that lunar intelligence that governs our solar personality, our sun sign actions. For you, this is a very deep, soulful, energetic feeling of how you do relationships, a kind of a regenerative look at that. And in the soulful Vedic, this is how you are reassessing what loyalty is, what it means to you, what is comfortable for you, what is beautiful for you in relationship, and actually redefining how you're going to express that in that first house lunar position of Scorpio, and being able to, in the solar position of Scorpio with the soulful Vedic, express that in new ways. That's being transformed, and the transformative energy in the Western, that ego interpretation of that deep, soulful redefinition of relationship, be it with oneself, your health, intuitive relationship, with others, be it contractual work, marital, love relationship, family, platonic, sibling relationship, parent-child, or if it is your financial relationship with yourself. How are you using your resources? This is how the ego is interpreting this. It's the lunar Gemini energy that sees both sides. Okay, this is how I have done it, but I'm now seeing energetically with this Gemini lunar energy, I'm transforming this into the material form of my emotions in a Gemini sense of seeing both sides, being diplomatic with myself. What is the truth, and how I'm going to, with the Sage Sun, the Sagittarius Sun expression, bring this new interpretation into manifestation. So Great Mother's coming straight through for you, Scorpio moon people, with Pele. Pele is the Maui goddess of the volcano. This is an awakening card. This is you looking at what is obvious for you in relationship that needs to be changed. There is a gut feeling that how you are interpreting your role in relationship with others, your role in how you have pigeonholed yourself to yourself, what you think and how you feel about who you are. She's saying that there's an obvious shift that needs to happen, and that you are recognizing. One way that you are acknowledging this shift needs to happen is going to take you down a path that you are going to allow others to define you. The other way with this crescent moon is giving us a sense that there's a new way that you are going to seed your new path for yourself, and you are awakening to deeper depths of yourself and how you want to express that in the world. You're wanting to align with the gut of who you know that you are. The transformative opportunity in aligning the ego and the soul for you with regard to this internal wisdom, what you know, that lunar energy of the full moon, which is in Scorpio Sagittarius. This is the moon that is bringing the light of awareness through. This is the season of light. And so the transformative opportunity is to question any doubts that may be coming up about what your true desires are. In the Great Mother Speaks deck, the Ankh is the symbol for the second chakra. So we've had the gut chakra, trust the gut. And so we have another heart below chakra, that second chakra. Be very clear about what your desires are. Don't compromise what they are as they relate to your relational patterns, how they need to shift. Make a decision, take an action, face the challenge as indicated by this first quarter moon. Last but not least, Great Mother does not want you to overlook in this process, Scorpio moon people, during this Vedic Scorpio, speaking of that, Jupiter is indeed in Scorpio in the Vedic astrology. So this is a very deep, very benefic, very expanded consciousness. She doesn't want you to overlook how important it is for you to maintain your energetic boundaries. Again, trusting that gut is being emphasized here. This would indicate to me, this new moon, that it would be useful for you to go back and look at your new moon reading just posted 2 weeks ago. What was she saying to you about the boundaries that need to be established in your life? Sometimes boundaries can be just us crossing from one state of lifestyle of being across a threshold into another state of being. And so this is your conscious thought about who you are, how you relate to people, how it represents your values, how it's going to make you feel comfortable, how it's going to make you feel valuable to yourself, how you're going to enjoy and love yourself in life. Those boundaries, she's saying, pay attention to them. They may not be as obviously clear as who you are to yourself right now, but don't overlook that they're there. You might, again, want to look at that video because these cycles come one after the other. You have the new moon cycle, which is reminder to look at your boundaries. Going from one state of being to another is another consideration. What are you planting in terms of your new thoughts about past relationships, past roles, past patterns of how you do relationship? And right after that, the first quarter moon, all of which precede this full moon phase. So she's saying that within the last 2 weeks, you have gotten some real clarity about what your true desires are. And this has translated into how you want to relate to other people, your health, your lifestyle, your finances, and most of all, the truth within yourself, being your true self in the world. That is what Great Mother is saying that you're feeling right now, what you're working with right now. And she encourages you to trust your gut, that instinctual knowing about what really makes you feel grounded in the world. Remember, Great Mother loves you, and I do too.
Great Mother speaks.
I am Great Mother, Holy Spirit, Yin, Divine Mother, Cosmic Womb, Deep Space, the Moon.